Hello and welcome. Hello, hello. I'm going to be making zipper pouches today. Welcome, welcome. Drop a comment. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm going to be showing you how I batch sew lots of zipper pouches at once. So, should be fun. I'm going to give folks a few minutes to get in, and then I will start sewing. I was going to have a sample zipper pouch ready to show you, but I don't have a sample. But if you look at the thumbnail for this video, you can see the zipper that the pouch that I'm making. And I'm just going to keep working on this sample pouch here. Hello, hello, welcome. Drop a comment. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Right now, I'm just working on a pouch that I started. It was going to be a sample pouch to show you. I didn't quite finish it, so I'm going to finish it right now while we let a couple more people join us on the live today. So I'm going to be going over all the dimensions, and then I'm going to walk you through how I batch sew these pouches from my studio. And if you've never met me before, I'm Liz from No Trace. I teach zero waste sewing, crafting, and lifestyle tips. And today I'm making some organic cotton zipper pouches. These are really nice travel bags or makeup bags. Great for your toiletries, fully washable, reusable, compostable at the end of their life. So that's what we're in for today. So I'm just going to wait a little bit longer for other folks to join. And then I will go over all of the steps or the materials, and then I'll walk you through the steps. Like I said, this one is what's going to be my example bag. But I didn't finish it, so I'm doing it now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and explain these pouches. So I'm going to be making these pouches that you can see the general size. They're about this big. And I have a stack here of fabric and batting that's already cut. I actually have someone who comes in and helps me cut fabric. So I'm going to be using pieces of fabric and organic cotton batting that are 11.5 inches wide and 9 inches tall. And then I have a bunch of 10-inch zippers. These are 100% cotton zippers with metal teeth, so they're plastic free. And then I like to add a little strap on the end of the zipper to use as a tie to help open the zipper. So hopefully I'll get to show you how I do that too. And finally, I'm going to be adding in a little no trace tag. I get these are organic cotton tags. I get them from a seller on Etsy. And these, I try to remember to put these on all my bags. Sometimes I forget, but so that's what we're working with today. So let me just show you, I'm going to start batching these pouches, and let me just show you how I do that. So I'm going to set my sample aside for now, and I will finish this. So when I'm doing a bunch of pouches, what I like to do is attach the fabric to the zipper with using as many clips as I have. So I'll just clip a whole bunch together. So I'm going to kind of zoom you in a little bit and show you how I batch sew these pouches. So I have a piece of fabric, and it's going to have a piece of organic cotton batting on the back. Again, this is 9 inches tall and 11.5 inches wide. Then I get my zipper, and I'm going to be putting it face down. This is the outside of the pouch. So the zipper is going face down on the outside of the pouch, and I'm just using binder clips. I like to use metal binder clips because they're fully recyclable at the end of their life. So I'm clipping these on. Then I will get one of my pieces of inner fabric, the liner, which is in this pile. And it's the same size. And I'm going to add that into my clips. And then I'm going to go ahead and stitch this one side of the zipper in place. And I do that with a presser foot, with a zipper foot. So I'm taking off my regular presser foot, and I'm going to be putting on my zipper foot right here. And like I was saying earlier, this is a really nice size bag for travel, for your toiletries, or makeup. It's also a really nice art bag for art supplies. So I'm sewing this with about a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to do a little back stitch at the beginning and then just go straight down. And as I get close to the zipper pull, I'm just going to kind of peek inside my layers and get a little closer, and then push that zipper pull out of the way and go straight down, and then do a little back stitch. Okay, so there's the first side done. So what I'm going to do is just clip some more of the fabric to zippers. So I have like a little stack, and then I can run this little stack through the sewing machine. But tell me where you're joining from. I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Drop a comment. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and clip as many of these as I can and get the batting behind the outside layer, get the zipper on top, clip it in place, and then I'm going to add the liner fabric to the back side of the zipper. And this is all organic cotton. I think all of the fabric I'm using today is from a company called Cloud9 Fabrics. And obviously I get my fabric in big bolts, like 15 yards at a time, but your local fabric store might carry Cloud9. And if they don't, you should ask them to. I think Beverly's Fabrics even carries Cloud9, but I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm going to keep clipping a few more of these together. I have pink. I'm going to make pink pouches and some herringbone pouches and some yellow pouches. The blue pouch that's in my thumbnail, I think I am out of that blue fabric, unfortunately, but I have all of these that are ready to go that were cut by my helper. And let me know if you have any questions as I'm working. If there's anything that you want to know about zipper pouches. I make a lot of zipper pouches. And my kids have a ton of zipper pouches that I've made them. And every time I make another zipper pouch, they want it. They want to add to their zipper pouch collection. All right, I've clipped this one in place. Let's get another one. I'm going to do a yellow one. Again, this is a Cloud9 organic cotton. I'm not not sure if they still have this exact print in stock, but I really love it. And I'm just clipping the right side of the zipper onto the right side of the outer fabric, and I'm putting a piece of batting on the back, and I'm just going to clip as many as I can with the clips that I have. I have, I don't know, maybe 20 clips. So I'm just going to keep lining up these edges. So I'm basically making a zipper sandwich here. And this is how I kind of do a batch sew. Lining these up and clipping them in place. Let me turn this a little bit better here. You can see my hands a little bit better. I don't have the tech for double cameras yet. I haven't figured out how to do that. But I know that would be nice to have a camera so you could see the work from in front and on top. So next time, maybe I'll figure that out. In my next live stream, I'm going to be doing a live stream every Wednesday, almost every Wednesday for a little while now. So I'll be walking you through. I'm going to be doing actually a series of zipper pouches because they are super fun to make. And I know that people like learning about different kinds of zipper pouches. So I'll be doing a bunch of those. Okay, so I've got another pink, and I'm getting my zipper again, right side down, and I'm going to clip it into place. And I sell these in my shop. I think I sell these for like $28 in my shop, and that includes free shipping. So, you know, they're a nice pouch, 100% organic cotton, and a really good size. So you could also buy these in my shop as soon as I get them up there. They're not in the shop yet, so they're still in the works here. Okay, so I've clipped another pink, and I need to clip, let's see, what else can I clip? I can clip another one of these guys. This is a fun floral print, and some batting. So this, what am I working with here? Now I'm going to have 5 or 6 pouches here in the works. Get that zipper down. I actually really like batch sewing. I think it's just a really efficient way to make things because then you get really smooth with each of the steps. Yeah. I'm not super organized over here in my pile, but that's okay. But you get the flow down for each step. Okay, so these are clipped. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and stitch down with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I do have my zipper foot already in place. And I'm going to back stitch at the beginning and the end. And just go straight down. Let me get this a little closer so you can see a little bit better what's happening over here at the sewing machine. And getting close to, as I get close to the zipper pull, I am leaning in and sort of peeking on the inside. And then I'm going to push that zipper head out of the way and keep sewing straight down. You can always double check your seam. Make sure that you caught all of the layers and it looks good. So I'm going to set this one aside and go ahead and stitch the next one straight down in the same way. Get these clips out of the way. down. I'm getting near the zipper head again, so I'm just moving it out of the way. And I'm going to do a little back stitch here. Okay, and so now I've gotten, oh no, it's out of bottom thread. Of course. I think I post like one meme a week about running out of bottom thread. So I'm going to go ahead and reload my bobbins. I should have done before we started, but if you're just joining us, welcome. I'm Liz. I am batch sewing some zipper pouches today, and I just ran out of thread in my bottom bobbin. So I'm going to do a quick refill of my bottom bobbin. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments in the chat. I think I've been saying comments, but drop your questions in the chat because I can actually see that. I can't see the comments, but I can see the chat. Whoops. Okay. I'm just filling this up and then I'll get right back on track. I should have loaded all my little bobbins. I usually have a whole bunch of bobbins. I only work with 2 different thread colors because I use organic cotton thread that's really pricey, and I get it in really big rolls like this. So I work with either navy or cream thread for all of my bags because it would be expensive to get, every color of the rainbow. And it seems to work, just having those 2 colors. Maybe one day I'll branch out and get some other colors. Okay, so this bobbin is ready to go back inside. And I'm sewing on a juki. It's not, I know that a lot of bag makers use this one particular juki. It's like their industrial juki. This is a pretty sturdy machine, but it is, it allows for a little more options. So I can actually do like a zigzag stitch. I can do a little bit of embroidery. Yeah. So that's why I have this machine. And I used my friend's little brother. When I first started sewing, when I first started my business, I was working on a little borrowed brother sewing machine. It was probably like a $150 sewing machine, and it worked great. And then I was ready for more bells and whistles. So this machine has a lot more bells and whistles, which is nice if you're if you're sewing a lot of bags. Okay, back to the drawing board on this guy. I'm just going to go all the way down and use a 1/4 inch seam allowance here. I'm making sure the edges are lined up. As I took those clips off, I don't want to put them back again. I'm getting near my zipper head, so I'm pushing the zipper pull out of the way. And I will keep going straight down. I'm realizing that I won't have time to do a whole bunch if I want to show you the whole process of making a pouch. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you from this point the next steps of the zipper pouch so that you can walk away with some good information from this live stream. Okay, so after I've sewn one side onto the zipper, it's time to attach the other side to the zipper. And all you need to do, let me push this back so you can see a little bit better. Okay, is open it up and close the zipper. And then we just follow the same steps on this side of the zipper. So we get a piece of the outer fabric right side on top of the other outer fabric, and then line it up at the edge of the zipper and then clip it in place. And I'm going to add some batting behind this piece as well. And clip this in place. And then I will get a piece of lining fabric and flip this over and clip the lining fabric in place right here. These actually sew up pretty fast. Once you have all the pieces cut and you've got your clips out, you can sew these pretty quickly. So these are all clipped together. Now I'm going to bring this to the machine. And again, I'm going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance and backstitch and go straight down. And get these clips out of the way. And as I get near the zipper, I'm going to peek in between my layers and push that zipper pull to the back so I can finish my pouch. Come on, zipper. It's fighting me. Okay. And again. And then a little back stitch. Okay, once these two sides are attached to the zipper, it's time to do a tiny bit of ironing. And my iron is right over here. So I'm going to open this whole thing up. And I'm going to be ironing the fabric away from the zipper on the top and on the bottom of the bag. So I've got my handy little ironing mat. Just get this in position. And go ahead and press it. I don't have a fancy iron. This is the thrift store iron, but it works just fine. It's actually the steam part doesn't work on this iron, which is kind of a problem, but I do have a water bottle. So sometimes I will spray a little bit of water, a little misty water on the bag, and then I can iron it and kind of steam it that way. So I'm a little bit of a, I don't know, minimalist when it comes to some of this stuff. Like, probably should invest in a better iron, but whatever. That one's working. Okay, so once those are ironed, then we do a top stitch on the outside. And the way I like to do it is I actually only want to sew through the top layer and the batting. So I'm going to actually pull the liner to the side and just stitch right here. And I do this because that way the bottom layer doesn't have to be so perfectly aligned when you sew, because sometimes if it's a little bit imperfect, you end up catching it in the zipper when you go to use your bag. Anyhow, I've just found that this works better. So I'm just top stitching all the way down. And if you're newer to sewing, I would do that a little bit more slowly, because it's nice to try to get a straight line. And the slower you go, the straighter your line. Okay, so now I'm flipping over the bag, and again, I'm going to just stitch on this side. I'm not going to stitch this fabric over here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this under the presser foot and go straight down. And try not to go so fast that I mess up. So now I have 2 rows of stitches, and now we are ready to clip the bag together. So we're going to clip the right sides together, and we're going to clip the liner fabrics together so that we can sew all the way around this bag and close it up. And I like to start by clipping on the sides near the zipper and point those zipper teeth towards the liner fabric, and then just get a clip right there. Also, I don't usually trim away the extra fabric for my seam allowance because I don't need to. I find I don't need to, and it just creates more textile waste if I do that. So I leave the extra fabric on the bag. Go ahead and clip on the sides. Then I'm going to add one of my no trace tags to the side. I'm going to put it on the back. So I'm going to put it on the side of the zipper where the stopper is, the very end. So I'm going to have my tag on that side of the bag. And just get it in there. About 2 inches from the top. And then I'm clipping that in place. And I'm going to clip a couple more spots on this bag also, so the fabric doesn't shift around on me too much. And I'm going to sew all the way around with about a 1/2 inch seam allowance, but I'm going to make sure to leave an opening in the bottom of the bag, of the liner fabric. So I'm not sewing the liner fabric all the way closed. That way we can turn our pouch right side out. Okay, and I'm going to pop off the zipper presser foot. I'm going to put on a standard presser foot right here. And then I'm going to start in the liner fabric. I'm going to leave an opening of about 3 or 4 inches. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And now I'm going to do a back stitch and go all the way around with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And I like to especially take my time when I get near the zipper, because I use metal zippers, so I have to be a little more careful that I don't break my needle on that zipper. That is the downside of using a metal zipper. You definitely need to be a little more careful. All right, turning it, and I'm going to go this way. Okay, stopping about a 1/2 inch away from that end. And I'm getting near the zipper again. So I can pretty much feel where the metal is. I do want to be careful there. Okay, and now we're back to the bottom of the liner fabric. And I'm going to do a little back stitch and again leave an opening like that in the liner fabric. I'm also going to box the corners before we finish this up. And the way I'm going to do that is by marking a 1 inch square on all of the corners. So I've got my little ruler. I'm using chalk, some tailor's chalk, and I'm just marking out 1 inch on each corner like this. Flipping it around, doing the same over here. So I'm actually using the edge of the fabric as the guide. I'm not using my seam, but it doesn't make it makes, you know, like a 1/2 inch difference if you use the seam versus the fabric. Not a huge deal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the bag and pull the bag open so that I create a little triangle here in the tip. And I'm going to just sew right on that line that I marked all the way across to box the corner without cutting any of the fabric off. So you just want to make sure that you can feel that the seam is touching itself so that when you turn your bag right side out, you'll have a nice straight seam line on your corners. You can kind of feel where the seam is if you open up the bag. And I'm just sewing straight on that line. Just like that. And I'm going to repeat that for the other corners. So again, I'm just opening up the bag. And then I'm kind of feeling with my fingers where the seam is and lining up the seams with each other. And then just sewing straight down. And then the bag is almost done. Okay, and now we'll do this side. So again, I'm opening up the bag. You might want to reach inside because this part is a little bit more, there's a little bit more fabric to work with, so it's a little trickier. So I'm reaching inside and I am lining up the seams here with each other. Made a nice triangle point here in the corner. And you really want to make sure that all the fabric on the inside is laying nice and flat. Then I'm bringing it over to the machine and I'm going to go straight on my line. And I'm going to reverse. So it looks like this. And then just one more corner to go here. And again, I'm not going to cut the corners off because that creates little bits of waste that I don't really need to get rid of. I'm just going to leave the fabric as it is with that little box in place. It actually gives the bag a little bit more cushioning on the corners, and it helps the bag stand up a little bit more. If you had a use for those corners, absolutely cut them off and use them. But as of now, I do not have a use for those corners. So I'm leaving them in place. Like this. It's almost done. So then we reach inside. And I'm just going to pull the pink through the lining. And the last step is to sew the lining fabric closed. So push those corners out with your fingers, and then you can press this opening. You can press it with the iron or just press it with your fingers. I'm just pressing with the fingers, and I'm just going to stitch the opening here closed, just straight across. And I'm doing about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I'm getting really close to the edge here. Okay, this bag is almost done. All right, there we go. So the last step to making the zipper pouch is just trimming loose threads, which I will do when I find my little scissors. I don't know where I put them. But you want to trim those loose threads, push the liner into the outer fabric. You could give your bag another press at the iron. How cute is this fabric? Actually, I really like this combo. And then test your zipper, obviously. And like I said, I was going to make little ties for the zipper, but I have one here already made. So I'm also going to go ahead and make more, but just for the sake of wrapping up my live, You take a tie, you get it inside your zipper. Oops. These are made with 1-inch scrap of fabric, by the way. So I'm just getting it inside my zipper pull. And I'm going to tie a super simple knot so that it is a nice little pull. And I might actually make a bigger one than this, but just so you get the idea, you have a little pull on your zipper. And it's done. Thanks so much for joining me. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already, and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing a live every Wednesday. I'm going to be doing a bunch of zipper pouches, so I'll see you again very soon.